help me understand, how do you navigate an open marriage, which sounds difficult?
Tenacious. Yeah. Listen, here's what I think. I think all relationships are difficult to navigate.
Yeah,
So,
but you dialed that shit to hard. Like, if we're
yeah,
gonna
but my
put this
whole
in
life is
video game
hard.
context,
So,
this is
yeah.
like, what's that game that you just die every 2 seconds?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yes, this is like Dark Souls on hard, ranked. Like, yeah, walk me through it.
I think polyamorous people can get jealous when people are hooking up with people. Monogamous people get jealous when
Now,
people are talking
are
to
you
people.
polyamorous, meaning multiple like actual relationships, or are you able to have short-term sexual encounters? Those feel very
It's
different
really
to me.
hard to like. It's hard to like label anything for my
So you don't
relationship.
have like specific rules?
Yeah, we do, but they change depending on
Interesting.
how it feels what.
Hmm.
Here's what I'll say, like for me, and I think it's generally true of Melina. Believe it or not, a whole bunch of one night stands are actually not that much fun. Like my top five best sexual partners in my life, not even remotely close to anything, have been the five girls that I all dated long term for a
Hmm.
year or more, and two of them started off as basically like virgins and horrible sex, and by the end it was like some of the best I've had in my life. So one night stands are not much fun. Also, I kind of like to be friends with like the people that I like. I'm like a cuddly, like I like being close to people and everything.
Hmm.
So the idea of like you fuck somebody and like you leave. There was one girl I've hooked up with in my life who was like super anti cuddler. We like finish and she like rolls over and to go to sleep, and I was like, well, this feels really weird. So like generally there are going to be people that I'm friends with, and then if we can fuck too, that's really fun and cool.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of the types of sexual relationships that I like to explore more, rather than just like I meet somebody, hook up, and then I maybe never see them again. So, the reason why I say this is because some people would say that that's not quite an open relationship because you're doing like romantic or friendship things with people, but then other people would say that's not really polyamorous because you're not like dating multiple people.
Hmm.
Other people would say if you're friends with somebody, you fuck them, you're de facto dating them. So I don't know. It's whatever that is.
It's interesting. So this might be my age showing, but how do you conceptualize then what marriage is if part of the marital component isn't that you're, because like to be honest, I can understand swinging if the couple is together,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets weirder for me if it's like literally two completely detached, separate experiences.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this. So there are, firstly, my wife is who I live with, and my life is structured around her. If I meet a girl I like in Seattle, I'm not going to move to Washington, right?
Mm.
Like my life is structured around like what is my wife doing? She's like the priority in my life. I'm not about to give half my money to a random girl I meet or whatever. But if my wife, I had to pay her Swedish taxes recently because she couldn't transfer money, right? This is stuff I'm not doing for a random fucking girl, okay? So my wife is like my priority, number one. Number two, my wife should be the person that like I communicate the most with. So in terms of like friendship, romantic communication, connection, all of that, she's like the person that I connect the most with. And those are the things that like make her my wife. The fact that she's my priority, the fact that I hopefully, assuming everything's running well, I'm communicating with her, doing the most with her, and like the moments in time that we're sharing are like the most special that we have,
Mm.
hopefully with any other person. The way that I view other people, this probably speaks to some level of like selfishness that I have because I'm greedy for whatever the fuck I want or whatever. It's really cool meeting new people. That's really fun for me. I like making new friends. I like talking to people that are interesting. Sex is really fun. It's really cool. It's a fun way to get to know somebody, be closer to somebody. And then like those like romantic sexual friendship moments, they're like these little special moments in time that you can carve out with a lot of different people that's like special and fun and unique all on their own. And to be able to explore that and have that with other people, for me, that's like super awesome. Like I love my wife. There are so many like fun romantic things that we've done together, more than any other individual. But there are also like there are other cool people that I've met, and it's like super fun to like share those moments in time with them as well.
Mm.
But it doesn't like replace the feelings I have for my wife. It's just like something separate. The way that I would describe it, nobody likes the analogy, and I understand why, especially for like monogamous people. But like you can have like a lot of different friends. Having one friend doesn't take away from the time you spend with another. You can even have a best friend and have other friends and like still have like really special moments with all those people too.
Mm. Why don't
But
people like that?
well, because then they say having a friend isn't the same as fucking somebody. Or are you saying your
This is
spouse is just
true.
your friend? It usually is where people go, but yeah.
Interesting. That analogy works for me in some ways. It helps me understand how you see it.
Mhm.
Now, when I think about, so do you see yourself as married forever? Or is it that a marriage it's a moment in time and I don't really think about the future. It's whatever. It'll do
Yeah,
what it does.
too much money now. It has to be forever, or somebody's dying. Okay, that's where we're married for life. One of us is. So,
That's hilarious.
no, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Initially, when we got married, it was just for the green card because she lives in Sweden.
Legitimately just for the green card?
Well, I mean, I want her to live with me. She's my wife.
Right.
So she lives in Sweden, I live in America. So she either gets to see me 3 months a year, or we get married so we can live together like a couple that loves each other. So
Gotcha.
initially, when
You
we
were already in love.
yeah.
But you actually got married.
Yeah,
for
so
the
that
green
we could
card.
like live
Got
together,
it.
right? But then after that, obviously your feelings continue to grow for each other. And now I think the way that we approach our life, like the way that I've got everything structured is I hope we're together forever. That's like what I'm planning on. That's what she's planning on. Like obviously sometimes people break up or divorces happen or whatever, but like I don't have like an exit ramp in my mind right now for like, okay, well if Melina doesn't work out, fuck that. There's a Norwegian chick I can talk to or something, right? Like that's not what I'm thinking. Yeah. Hopefully she's thinking the same with me. Although
Do you
the
guys
right
not talk about
community-
that?
Yeah, no, of course we do. We just want to like I think eventually we probably want to have kids, but our relationship needs to stabilize a lot because there's a lot of things we have a really big age gap. So there's a lot of things that she's growing and learning, and there's a lot of things that I'm still like growing and learning.
How old are you? You're pretty young.
I'm 34,
How old is she?
24.
I guess at that age.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, so then walk me through jealousy seems like the most obvious thing that you have to contend with.
Okay, I don't like to dive too much into this because it gets into weird asymmetries. For whatever reason, I don't know why, and it might be because of like my independence growing up. I am very, very rarely, if ever, a jealous person. It's just not something I tend to care about that much. There are so many things in my life that I can like pour my time into that like if my partner wants to go off and hang out with somebody else or fuck somebody else, do whatever she wants to do, like I can stream an infinite amount of time. There's an infinite amount of things I can work on. There are other people that I can talk to. For me, at the end of the day, like I would be sad if she was like, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving. Like that would be sad to me. But as long as I feel like she loves me, and at the end of the day, we get to hang out with each other and chill and be together and do things. Like if she wants to hang out with other people in the meantime, like that doesn't bother me, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure that like theoretically, I'll say that, but I'm sure theoretically there could be things that would bother me. Like if she fucked somebody and came back and she was like, oof, like riding you doesn't feel as good because the last guy had like a 15-inch big white dick, and now I've got your I'm like, okay, well fuck me. I'm sure there are some things that like could bother me, but with the way that it plays out right now, like no, I think we're cool.
That was literally going to be the question that I asked. Would it bother you if you knew she was having sex with somebody that she thought was better than you?
I'm like pretty competitive by nature, so like if people are like having good,
You're going to find a way.
yeah, because I mean like there'll be times we talk where like, oh, you hooked up with a guy, like what did he do that you really liked, or like what was like really fun for you, or like what's something that like ideally, assuming our relationship is healthy and everything's working, like those are the types of conversations we should be having to like, yeah, because you should, given the opportunity to be with a person for a long time is like the biggest sexual advantage you could possibly have. And I feel like to monogamous people, like I always like flip it back and it's like, are you ever worried that she'll meet a guy that makes her laugh more than you? Or a guy that she thinks is like, looks better than you? Like those people exist out there. I'm probably not the best person for my partner. There's probably some guy out there that's better than me at StarCraft, funnier than me, hard to imagine, I know, more handsome, more whatever. Like that guy's probably out there, but we've got like a history together, time together, we've tested it and we're doing our best. So yeah, you've got like that time investment that you make is a skill that nobody else in the outside world can compete with, right? There might be other guys that are taller than me, more handsome than me, bigger dick, whatever, but none of them have spent 4.5 years with my wife. I've only done that, right? So yeah, I guess that's how I think about it.
It's very interesting. So your life, at least if I'm understanding you correctly, it seems clear that you believe your life is better living it that way. Do you think that your marriage would be stronger if you didn't?
I don't know. Sometimes I think my whole life would be better if I got in an accident, like chop my dick off. Because I make
Just
a lot
because
of
it
bad
takes too
decisions.
much energy, too much of your focus?
I make dumb decisions sometimes. I don't know. My wife likes to mess around too with other people. Like it's fun for her. I don't think I would ever do it one-sided where like I'm just at home and she's messing with other people. Like we'd always probably both be doing things. I think with the lifestyle that we lead, with the things that I like, with the things that she likes, it's probably better to do what we do now. I don't think a monogamous relationship would be better for our relationship. I don't think so. If it would, the only aspect that would make it better is probably her number one complaint. And the worst part about dating me is sometimes my time can be highly restrictive. So, and also the way that I spend time with people is different than the way that she spends time with people. So I've noticed in life, some people really like mundane time together. I love mundane time. I like cuddling with somebody in bed while we're both looking at our phones or working at someone on a laptop. Like holding somebody's leg while you're driving, like these types of things mean being gymming with somebody. These like mean a lot to me. So I can spend like a whole week with her doing that every single day. We've gymmed every day together. We've gone out to like 3 or 4 meals, sleep together every night, blah blah blah. And by the end of the week, she'll be like, I haven't seen you for a minute. I haven't done anything. Yeah.
I know that drill.
Yeah. And for her, she's thinking, like in her mind, okay, we do these things all the time, but when you go hang out with another girl, you're not just spending mundane time, you're taking her out to dinner, you're like going on fun events, like you're doing things like, I want to do those things. So for her, her special time is like really high quality time where we're doing like special, exceptional things. So balancing that out for me is very difficult because she likes time a lot different than I do. So the only issues we run into is where like, if I'll see like another girl and we do like a fun special thing, just because I only see him once or whatever, and then she's thinking like, okay, well, we don't do anything together. That's a conflict because in my mind, I'm like, motherfucker, I spent like 100 hours with you last week. And in her mind, she's like, you didn't spend a single hour doing anything special with me. So that's like a, way different, approach to.
I know it well. My wife is my business partner. And for me, that is extraordinarily quality time. I love building my business so much. It is my favorite game to play is to see if I can build this thing. And to do it with her is the great joy of my life. And so I'm like, yeah, we spent whatever, 90 plus hours focused on the same thing this week, often in the same room, pushing the same thing. And for her, just that clock doesn't start.
Yeah.
And she likes the mundane stuff. So if I come and I work next to her, so she's watching TV because I work more than she does. So if she sits down to watch TV, she'll be like, "Oh, do you mind like coming and sitting next to me while you work?" And I get nothing out of that. I get no sense of like, "Oh, I'm with you." If we're not focused on the same thing, that doesn't give me the same thing that it does her, but it does her. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm completely absorbed in my own world. That's very, very interesting. How do you deal? You're so open about this. How do you deal with the internet pushback? When people want to do an ad hominem attack against you, they pull out what is one of the more sort of, just for the average guy, the most scathing thing that they can throw at you. Yeah, that, and they'll say horrible things about your wife.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen enough of your content to know if you never do. I've never seen you even respond to it.
Sometimes I'll fight with people. It's fun. This just comes from my background as being like very, very, very independent. Internet stuff doesn't hit me on like a very personal level. Like I'll get upset if people are saying things that are like wrong about me or if they're making like dumb arguments or whatever. But I figured this out like really early on in streaming. Like I have to live with myself 24/7 and it's my life. I will never let the fucking internet dictate my life to me. Like there have been times where I dated a girl that my whole stream hated and like it was like, why are you fucking with this chick? Blah, blah, blah. Like, well, because I'm dating her, not you, motherfucker. I don't care if you don't like my fucking girlfriend. That's good for you guys. Complain all you want. She's the one that I fucking live with. Fuck you. But I understand. I understand it. It is exceptionally rare that a person. So something that I do that I think is exceptionally rare is when I live my life. I have like an internal schema that I like hold things to see like, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? And I'm genuinely capable of interpreting all of those things for myself. I think for a lot of people, I think the interpretations are done on a social level. There's like this phenomenon I describe sometimes where like I'll ask a guy like, would you ever wear like a pink dress? And the response would be like, it's like this kind of thing where I feel like they're kind of like, what am I supposed to say? And then they'll give me the answer that like closely resembles like the group that they're in, rather than like, not to say that they should want to wear a pink dress or not. I wouldn't want to, but like I would think about it like, I don't think I want to do this, right? But I don't feel like a pressure for other people to do it. I think for a lot of people, they feel a pressure to live a certain way. And part of feeling that pressure also requires you to reinforce that pressure. So that's where a lot of the comments come from. Like for a lot of people, because there's a lot of cognitive dissonance there too. If you see my lifestyle, it is impossible that somebody like me could ever be. Because for me to be able to live my life in that style and to be happy with it would require for them to reorganize their whole worldview. So in order to resolve, because we always work to resolve cognitive dissonance. In order to make my lifestyle make sense, either they have to reform how they view the world and they have to acknowledge maybe there are a lot of other types of ways to be happy, or I'm just a cuck who's hardcore coping and I cry to myself to sleep every night, and that's probably way more likely. So they just go with that basically. Yeah. So I feel like having the understanding of like where they come from mentally, like I get it, helps me to like not care as much. But then again, like I said, like at the end of the day, this is my life. Like why the fuck would I let strangers online dictate to me how I live, you know?
If you like that clip, check out another powerful clip right here, and I'll see you there.